Have you ever got exactly what you wanted and still felt empty inside? Have you ever thought, just this one thing, and I will be happy? But when you got it, something inside you whispered, no, I need more. This is the story of a man who spent his whole life chasing, and what he lost along the way will break your heart. Once upon a time, in a small green village, there lived a farmer named John. The village was peaceful. Birds sang in the morning. The wind moved through the wheat fields like a gentle hand. Children played in the mud. Smoke rose slowly from the chimneys of small clay houses. John had a small piece of land. It was not much, but it was enough to grow food, enough to feed his family, enough to live a simple, quiet life. But John did not see it that way. Every morning, he stood at the edge of his small field, and every morning, he looked at the land beyond it, the wide, open land that belonged to no one yet. And he thought the same thought. If I just had more land, my life would be set. His wife, Anne, was a calm and gentle woman. She worked beside him every day. She cooked simple meals. She sang while she swept the floor. She found joy in small things, a good harvest, a cool breeze, her children's laughter. John, she said one evening, as they sat outside watching the stars, look at what we have. A roof, food, each other. We are lucky. John looked at her. Then he looked away. It is not enough, he said quietly. I want more land, more harvest, more money. Then we will truly be comfortable. Anne said nothing, but her eyes held something sad. That year, John worked harder than ever before. He saved every coin. He ate less. He slept less. He pushed himself until his back ached and his hands bled. And finally, after 2 long years, he bought a second piece of land. The day he signed the papers, his heart jumped with joy. He walked across his new field with big steps. He smiled wider than he had smiled in years. Now, he thought, now life is good. Now I have enough. But 3 months passed, and the feeling was gone. He stood at the edge of his 2 fields now, and he looked at the land beyond. Wider land, richer soil. And the old thought came back, louder than before. If I just had that land too, then life would really be set. He worked again, harder this time. He borrowed money from neighbors. He sold his cow, the same cow his children loved, the one his daughter had named Bella, and fed grass every evening with her small hands. His daughter cried when Bella was taken away. Papa, why? She asked, her eyes full of tears. So we can have a better life, John said, and walked away quickly, because something in her eyes made his chest hurt. He bought the 3rd piece of land. Again the joy came, bright and warm, like sunlight after rain. And again, it disappeared, faster this time. The years moved like water, fast and quiet. John kept chasing. More land, more harvest, more, always more. He borrowed from everyone. He worked every hour of the day. He stopped sitting with his family in the evenings. He stopped listening to Anne's voice. He missed his son's first day at school. He missed his daughter's wedding preparations because he was busy negotiating a land deal in the next village. His neighbors watched him with tired eyes. John never stops, they said. He has more land than anyone in this village. But have you seen his face? He never smiles. Not really. At home, the silence grew heavy. Anne stopped singing. The children grew up and grew quiet around their father. They loved him, but they did not know him anymore. And John told himself every single night, just a little more. Then I will rest. Then I will sit with them. Then I will be present. But the little more never ended. Then, one bad season, the rains did not come. The crops dried. The soil cracked. The fields that John had borrowed money to buy gave him nothing that year, nothing at all. He could not repay his debts. The lenders came. One by one, they took the land back. First the third field, then the fourth, then the fifth. John watched it happen like a man watching a fire eat his house. Helpless, frozen. By the end of that terrible year, he had only his first small field left. The same small field he had started with. The same land he had thought was not enough all those years ago. He sat in the dirt at the edge of that field one evening, alone, his back bent, his hands empty, his eyes dry because he was too tired even to cry. "I had so much," he whispered to no one, "and now I have nothing." That is when he heard a voice. "You do not have nothing." John looked up. An old man stood at the edge of the field. He was thin with white hair and a walking stick made from a tree branch. John had seen him before, a quiet elder who lived alone at the far end of the village. People called him Old George. They said he was wise. They said he had lived through great loss and come out gentle on the other side. John said nothing. He had no energy for conversation. But Old George sat down beside him anyway, slowly, carefully, like a man who had learned that everything deserves patience. They sat in silence for a while. The sun was going down. The sky turned orange and pink above the quiet field. Then Old George spoke. "Tell me something, John. When you had 5 fields, were you happy?" John opened his mouth, then closed it. "I thought I would be," he finally said. "But there was always something missing." Old George nodded slowly. "Yes, that is the trick, is it not? The feeling of enough keeps moving. Every time you reach it, it runs a little further away." John stared at the ground. "I lost everything chasing it," he said. His voice was hollow. "Not everything," Old George said gently. He paused. "Is your wife still home?" "Yes." "Are your children alive and well?" John swallowed. "Yes." "Is this field still yours?" A long silence. "Yes," John whispered. Old George picked up a small stone from the ground. He held it in his old fingers. He looked at it like it was something precious. "I had a son," he said quietly. "Strong boy. Worked beside me every day. I used to tell him, 'One day we will be rich. One day things will be better. One day. One day.'" His voice slowed. He died in an accident. He was 23 years old. And all those one days died with him. The words fell like stones into still water. "I would give every field, every coin, every piece of land in this world," Old George continued, "just to have one ordinary evening with him again, just to sit beside him, just to hear him breathe." John felt something crack, open inside his chest. The things you were chasing, John, they were never real wealth. They were shadows. You ran after shadows. And while you ran, the real treasure was sitting at home, waiting for you to come back. John walked home that night slowly. He opened the door. The house was quiet. Anne was sitting near the lamp, sewing in the dim light. She looked up. Her face was tired, but her eyes still held something warm, something patient. John sat down beside her, something he hadn't done in years. She looked at him, surprised. He did not say anything clever. He did not make a promise. He just sat. And after a moment, he reached out and held her hand. She did not pull away. Outside, the village was quiet. The stars came out one by one. The small field sat in the darkness. Enough, just enough. And for the first time in many, many years, John felt something settle inside him. Something soft and steady, like a fire that does not burn too hot, but never goes out. He had lost so much chasing more. But what remained, if he chose to see it, was still something beautiful. Maybe you are like John. Maybe you tell yourself, just this promotion, just this house, just this amount in my account. Then I will relax. Then I will be present. Then I will enjoy life. But the finish line keeps moving. It always does. And while you chase it, real life is happening right now. In the quiet moments, in the faces of the people who love you, in the small, warm, ordinary things you keep walking past without seeing. Chasing more is not wrong. Wanting better is not wrong. But when the chase makes you blind to what you already hold, that is when you start losing, even while you are winning. The richest people are not those with the most. They are those who can look at what they have and feel deep in their chest that it is enough. That feeling, that one feeling, is worth more than 1,000 fields. So tonight, look around you. Not at what is missing. Look at what is there. Who is sitting in your home right now that you have not truly seen in a long time? I want to know your thoughts. Tell me in the comments, what is one thing in your life that you sometimes forget to be grateful for? Your words might remind someone else to look up from the chase. If this story stayed with you, please share it with one person who needs to slow down today. And if you want more stories like this, ones that make you feel, think, and grow, then subscribe and stay with us. Because the most important things in life are not ahead of you. Most of them are already here.